Good evening, good evening. Welcome to WooTube. Just fade this out, hopefully. Yeah, there we go. Whoa. I'm Baron Woo. How are you all doing tonight? I hope you're all having a good day. Yeah. Martin. Hello. Excellent stuff. Martin in chat, one of the 10 participants of the Bristol Startup CO on the weekend, which we had a really good turnout actually. 10 people I was really happy with to play some startup, including 4 players who had never played in a tournament before, which is exactly what I was kind of aiming for, to kind of get some new people into the game, which was really, really nice to see. Had a good time. I've just uploaded my decks. I haven't really done much description yet. I'm sure I'll hopefully have time to write them up a little bit later. I took Sable because I kind of just wanted to go and play some good stuff, as a very rare occurrence. Just especially as I was running it and judging it, I didn't want to be having to think too much when I might be called away for judge calls and things like that. I didn't want to lean on a boat deck, so I just played one boat, and actually this turned out, I think, to be the only boat in a tournament of 10 people. I think there was one boat, and I had it in my deck, and I only installed it in like 2 of the games. One of them for literally the winning run. I installed it, and then I dirty laundry remote, got in and won. So it was like a very boat free meta, mainly because everyone was playing Essa. Essa's pretty good right now, and you know it's kind of interesting because obviously you probably want to play her console if you're on her. But yeah, this was fun. I kind of was leaning into the Wake and Twinning and Chesver, having loads of spare memory from Endurance if I ever found the thing. I played a Hush because I love Hush, and we'll be seeing a lot of Hush today. And then just like good stuff, Criminal. I had a copy of Networking because I figured that R+ is like pretty good right now. I think on every I think I got tagged a lot, and I don't think I ever drew my networking and was never able to clear a tag with it. Played a lot of Fool, so didn't install a Zenit chip all day. But other than that, this was like pretty good. This was pretty fun. Not Yeti played ESSA at Norwich Startup CEO of a week. It's just a ton of fun. It is for at least one person. I know some people are a little bit upset about ESSA. It's kind of funny. I think they are getting the noise vibes. So yeah, so this was my runner, Combat Wombat, and then Wombat Combat was my Corp because I had to take something a little more ridiculous, right? I have like my I don't know, what do you call it, like my pride, my reputation to stick with. So I wanted to try and make Isawak Adaptix work, and my idea here was that I just jam cards in a server and then they have to check them, or if they don't, then I seamless launch, and I potentially seamless launch Archive Memory, seamless launch to score out and trigger Isawak. In practice, this deck has been quite fun. It's like not strong, but it's quite fun to play as, and it's quite fun to play against. But on the day, it went 1 win, 2 losses, and the 1 win, I scored 7 points as Isawak. So, yay. I tell you what, winning on 7 points as Isawak feels about as bad as losing, because all you're thinking is, I could have done this in PE and just been that person, or maybe made a bit more money off and not had to send a message and played Restoring Humanity. Anyway, yeah, this was, it did some stuff. It was fun. It forced, the one thing about it being Isawak, it forced Andy to check a double advanced Urtica Cipher, because it could have been the win next turn. So I think that was the only time Isawak was relevant all day. But yeah, anyway. Oh, also, I had a pretty bad run because I was playing against a lot of Essers, some of which just installed a Marrow first turn, and the whole point of my deck, a lot of it is kind of sneakily scoring out Blood in the Waters. And first I played against Chris, and he installed a Marrow in a non-Esser deck, and then just had 7 hand size for his entire game, and I had 3 copies of an Agenda, which was a 7/2. Not great. So that sucked. But the day itself was great, really, really fun. And thank you everyone for turning up. But today, technically for the next 3 weeks, I am going to probably just focus on playing some mini factions, because we're very nearly at the time where rotation should be happening. We are due new cards in like a month and a half or less, which means that we've only got sort of 4 to 6 weeks to play the mini factions before they rotate out, which means that I've got to get some jank in. So today we're looking at Sunny, and I have been busy throwing together a variety of Sunny decks here. And I'm just going to try and play as many of them as we can, and maybe build some more on the fly and see what happens. And that's kind of a plan for it. Martin says, against Fule, Essa is tough. I found it grind. It's a fun matchup. You just can't play any of your cards. Yeah, it is. I tell you what, I find Essa versus Fule or Tule, I find it fascinating, because it should be incredibly one-sided, but when you start thinking about it, you wonder which way round that one-sidedness is. And essentially, it's kind of just a game of find the ontologicals first, which is where kind of I think against Tule you actually want to play more finalities than Chuskas, but against like PE, for instance, you really want to be on a whole load of Chuskas. Unless they're Genesis PE. Oh well, we won't get into that. So, but yeah, if you can kind of find the ontologicals first, or even just find one, then you can start taking brain damage. If you can find a second one, then you can just slam yourself with, like, you can take brain damage off stealing their stuff just to mill more cards of theirs, which I think is quite fun. We did see some games end on Saturday with like a decent. Sorry, I've been saying brain, haven't I? I should be saying core. Ending with people on like 9 core damage, which is insane. The ID with the Marrow outside Essa, it was a loop deck. Just like kind of good stuff loop, but you know, what's your console choices? You've either got Marrow or you've got his, you know, Carnivore, which is unfortunately like pretty bad even in loop. And I was like, as soon as he installed a Marrow, it shuts down quite a lot of like issues which you might have. And also I was playing against Cable Carnage online the other day, and they were playing an Essa deck, and I was playing as Mari, and I tagged them like turn 2, and they were never clearing the tags, but they just had a Marrow down, and they just always kept 7 cards in hand at the end of their turn, and so it was actually really hard. Like until it got really near the end of the game when they started taking brain damage again, it was actually pretty hard. You know, like it is good boom protection. So maybe like Marrow as a sort of just choice console it's interesting. It's probably not correct most of the time, but it's interesting. Anyway, let's play some Sunny. So if you are not familiar with Sunny, because obviously if you are more used to startup, like Sunny will be a very new card to you. Sunny is pretty much a blank ID. It's kind of interesting. She has been maybe not tier 1, but she's been strong at various metas in the past. A bunch of us from Bristol all took Sunny to a big, I can't remember which tournament it was, but it was a big tournament, and it was when Built to Last, like Red Planet Couriers Built to Last, and Sports Metal with the ridiculous like Vacherons and the like gain a gajillion clicks. When that was in the meta, and we all did quite well with Sunny. It was a kind of interesting thing which we put together as a meme and ended up proving to be quite good, mainly because White Hat is a very good card. But she's essentially a blank ID. She doesn't have an ability as such. She just has 2 Link. And Link helps you with traces, and on its own, that seems like a pretty bad sort of thing to play instead of an ability. But she does have a couple of pretty powerful cards in her toolbox. One of which is her console, which for a long time was the big 8-cost console that's going to deal with all of your ice of choice. Obviously, this was somewhat taken over by a different 8-cost console, which deals with all your ice. This is the much fairer version of that. But this is Security Nexus. It costs 8. It's a hardware. It gives you one MU, which is a much more fair amount of MU. It also gives you a link. And it says, once per turn, when you encounter a piece of ice, you may force the corp to trace 5. If successful, give the runner 1 tag and end the run. If unsuccessful, the runner bypasses the currently encountered ice. So normally when you've got a Security Nexus down, you'll have at least 3 link, and then you hit a piece of ice. the corp can choose to boost into that trace if they feel like they have enough money to do that. But normally it means that you just end up paying 2 to get through their ice. And the best thing about this is if they do boost and they boost more than you can pay, the ice still doesn't fire. You just take a tag and you get kicked out of the server. So this is a really powerful card when it comes to checking ice, because you can kind of check any ice without any issue, and the worst thing that's going to happen to you is you take a tag. And Sunny has good ways of dealing with tags. Now, outside of Security Nexus, the best card that Sunny has, and potentially a better card than Security Nexus, is White Hat. This is, in my opinion, one of the most fun and most powerful events in sort of the runner toolbox. If you have access to White Hat, and it's a 5 influence event, and it's very expensive to play out of faction for that reason. But if you can fit it in something and you can make something work with White Hats, then it can do a hell of a lot of work. So this says you can only play it if you make a successful run on a central server this turn, and then you can trace free, and we're normally going to have free link to start with anyway. And then if our trace goes through, then we get to reveal all the cards in HQ. Already that's pretty good. We're going to see everything that's in their hand. We're going to maybe see if there's agendas in there. We're going to see if there's things that we're worried about, big operations, maybe the win cons, maybe ice that's particularly problematic, maybe snares. Anyway, we get to see what's in their hand, and then even better, we get to shuffle 2 of those cards back into the corpse stack. And this is fantastic, because this is sort of one of the great ways of dealing with corps which want to kind of combo out, or they want to have like a combo in hand. And this is why we played Sunny against the built to last decks, because they were kind of trying to build up this combo where they'd have a Biotic Labour and a Red Planet Couriers in hand, and a Government Takeover in hand, and you could keep disrupting this this combo by removing the things from their hands. Absolutely great card, and one of my favourites, and in my opinion, the reason to play Sunny. And then we've got some other cards which are good, but the main thing after sort of looking at, obviously including these 2, and you'll find them in every single one of the decks which I have here, is playing at least 2 Security Nexus, and I think all of them are playing free White Hat, because I think it's great. But we then need to actually work out, well, how are we going to leverage Sunny's ability, or what she can do. And one of the things that Sunny has is she has these kind of weird breakers, which all say that if you have at least 2 link, the memory cost of them is 0. And so what that's always meant for Sunny is that, firstly, these breakers are not very good breakers. Sherman has its reasons, and paying 2 to get through Endless Euler is certainly worth it. But these are like pretty bad breakers in general. But they don't cost memory, and what that's always meant is that Sunny's got like a lot of memory, and what does she do with that? And so the classic kind of thing was you play 3 copies of Rozeki, because you've got all the memory space in the world, and then you just kind of build up this late game drip engine. And she was always a late game drip runner, as it was very, very oppressive in the late game, not very good in the early game. And unfortunately, obviously, Rozeki banned, so we can't do that anymore. So my thought was then, right, well, what are we going to do? So the first thing is, what are you going to do with all that potential available memory? And I have a couple of options. I think Amakua features in a lot of these decks. Amakua is a really good alternative option when you've got Security Nexus, and then Amakua is your kind of other way of breaking ice. Amakua is very good with Leech, but not many Leeches in these decks, but a lot of them are playing this card. I'm playing a lot of Hush because I've really liked Hush in Sunny. One of the only ice that Sunny can't deal with very well is called Anansi. If you're not familiar with Anansi, it's a great big spider. If you've played some startup, you've probably run into this ice, but this is kind of Sunny's nemesis, because the ability here says that when you encounter a Nancy, if you didn't break all the subroutines, then it does 3 net damage. And if you bypass the ice, it means that you haven't broken it. So Hush stops that ability, so it means that we can bypass a Nancy with Security Nexus, which is pretty nice. And then what else have we got? What other ways can we use Sunny? Well, she's got a link. So one of the only other cards that we can play, apart from White Hat, Black Hat, which we get onto, it's not very good, unfortunately. But in the kind of runner canon that cares about Link right now is Citadel Sanctuary, another card which is rotating. So this is kind of a pretty cool, like, tag removal and meat damage protection card. It's like a really good tech card. But we can use this pretty well because we're going to have a link of 2 or 3. And so we can normally clear tags without having to pay and saving a click by doing it at the end of the turn. So maybe do we start with this deck because of that? And that kind of makes sense. I guess so. Let's start here. This is maybe like one of the stronger decks which I've built. So we might be starting hot and then taking a big old dive off a cliff as we move into some of the funkier stuff that we've got going on over here. But this is essentially a kind of tag me but free tag removal deck. So we're playing 3 copies of Citadel Sanctuary. We're going to try and remove all our tags for free, and then we're going to play cards like Rogue Trading, which give us money but also give us a tag, and Hop Shoot, which lets make a run, give us money but also give us a tag, to kind of generate money but then not have to deal with the downside of paying to remove the tag. So we've got 3 Hop Shoots, we've got 3 Rogue Tradings, we've got some no free lunches as another way of potentially removing tags. And we've got some Deuces Wild, again, another good card for removing tags. Not Yeti, I've never played as Sunny, but love the Autodialer deck. Is she worth playing in the next few weeks? I think if you liked the Autodialer deck, maybe try this exact deck, because this actually felt pretty good. It means that you get to play with White Hat, which is the one thing which the Autodialer deck doesn't have. The rest of this, there's a good argument that it's probably just better in 419 as a criminal deck, but there's some things about. So I mean, I think mainly your reason to do it in Sunny is you get to play White Hat. You also get to play things like Jack Sinclair, which is a kind of nutty card in terms of charging up Amakua. Because Jack Sinclair says you can make a run at the start of your turn. You just can't use any breakers to actually break ice, but you can still like bypass it with Security Nexus. And this means that you can normally charge up Amakua very, very quickly and get it to a point where it's kind of almost impossible for them to purge out, which feels pretty great. Other than that, the one big issue that Sunny has is that she's a 50 card minimum deck. So we have to put in a lot of, or as much draw as possible. We're playing Deuces as potential draw, Office Supplies as draw. This is a Sunny card, which allows us to potentially draw 4 cards, and it'll cost anywhere between 2 and 1 credit. Earthrise Hotels, DreamNet, which is great because we've got 2 link. It's going to give us a credit as well when we run. And we're probably going to click to draw a lot. Yeah, not yet. I would suggest it. Jack Sinclair in Sable. That's a lot of clicks gained. Yeah, I'd suggest it because I think it's worth playing just so that you get to play White Hat a couple of times. Let's play this one first. This one's called what did I call it? Sit Down, because Citadel, and Shut Up because of Hush. Originally it had 3 Hush. I've swapped 1 Hush for 1 Leech, and we'll see if that's the best thing. There we go. So let's actually remember to move my face over here. Try and select the right Sunny. And I wonder if there's. I think the rest of this deck. Oh, we've got a game already. So before we go in there, playing against Wintergon, they are the outfit. Okay, so the one card. Hey. The one thing that we have against fast advance of any kind is White Hat. So I'm going to probably keep this opening hand just because it has a White Hat. We can also potentially clear a bunch of tags if we get tagged with the cards that we have in our hand. But yeah, fast advance can be a problem, and in general you can often try and just rush Sunny out. Sometimes behind as little as a single ice wall. Can be a bit mean. Let's draw first. Okay, that's cool. We probably don't want to get that down quite yet. We'll check on our R&D now. We see an Archer. Okay, that's Big Ice, which we're going to hopefully. Okay, so Hush is really good if we put it on any outfit ice, but it's really bad against Archer. Because if we accidentally put the normally against outfit, here's a little thing you should do. You put Hush on face down ice so that they have to res their. I think we're going to run into this on server 1. Do we think this is the Archer? I think we probably. I mean, we could see what it is. But yeah, often I'll put a Hush on the face down ice. Because then they don't get bad pub when they res it, which actually makes it pretty bad for them. It's whether we want to kind of actually have a look first, or just barrel into it. I think if this is a trebuchet, then we might just be able to outtrace them. Okay, that's fine. That's a really good Hush target. I think we can probably go R&D here, because I think this is the Archer. Spin Doctor, I think we trash. We'll go again. Oh, we see another border control. We probably just take a credit. I mean, maybe having 8 is really bad in case we get double Econ Warford. Alright, I wish I'd put the Jack Sinclair down so that we could check this. I think we can do this for draw. I'd love to keep that. Turtle is brilliant. Can we afford to go Turtle and Dreamnet and run? It's gonna take us down to 3. We'll end on 4. We can. I feel like we're gonna get. Hard hitting news if we do that. Oh, I should have run here. Do we just pop up with a bit of money here? I probably want that for draw. Okay, I'm going to put myself on 6 credits, which is a bit risky. We do have 2 link, so we've got a tiny bit. Oh, this is going to be an above the law. So they should get rid of a Dreamnet here. Oh, they don't. Okay. So I could have done Turtle and then run this, but I probably also had to put the Hush on it, which is a bit of a shame. do I put down turtle now? They're on only 3 credits. We'll make a run on archives. That's so we could pop the no free lunch and play the gamble, which is probably the better idea actually. This puts us like fairly safe, pretty safe from hard hitting news. Next turn, like they've got a ton of cards in hand, so it might be time to play a white hat and ooh, okay. Now they do have an archer somewhere. Where do we think the archer is? I mean, it's most likely in an Afshar on HQ, if anything. I think we can run HQ. Like if they res an archer if they sack an above the law to get rid of an archer, then I think we're fine with that. We'll break the end run. See a bulwark. Okay, so we can. I think we go hush on the border control, then we can dirty laundry this server, which feels pretty great. And then doesn't really help us by putting the hush on the Afshar. So I think this here, dirty laundry server 1. We'll keep them nice and poor. Wow. It looks a bit rough. Concession there. Wanna redo? Yeah, that looked like a pretty rough start in terms of their econ there. Like, I think if they're. No worries. Thanks for the game. Cool. Okay. Well, I was gonna only play like one game with each, but I think we'll probably have to do another one. Oh, I need to put that on streaming. Um, yeah. So I think that turn. I mean, there's a chance that I think definitely after they res the spin doctor, like there's going to be a ton of agendas in hand. So I think like next turn we're probably gonna sort of try and white hat them and just pick all the agendas out. Which one am I doing? This one. Okay. Sports. This is a very slow start. So we are. That's a big old mulligan. You basically kind of never want to see your you almost never want to see your breakers at all. Uh, until right at the end of your deck. So having breakers in hand to start with feels really bad. They are expensive. They are not good to use. This is much better. We've got a lot of draw. We've got a white hat, which is one of our decent ways of dealing with um, fast advance. Let's check HQ. Fast break, expected. We're definitely going to try and get Jack Sinclair down because just getting more accesses is like pretty vital. Is it better for the Jack Sinclair? Or is it better for the Earthrise? Is the question. I don't want to check any of these yet. I think we're going to go Jack Sinclair. Okay, so this might be a brain damage style. In fact, if I'm seeing fast break, that's kind of what I'm expecting. We'll make a run on HQ. We see a fast break again. Let's draw. We'll draw. Could get the leech down. Let's get the leech down, and we'll check R&D. I should have put the false. I should have put the Earthrise down. We see a false lead. Funky. Definitely should have put the. Yeah. Okay. So this is brain damagey version. I don't want to lose this breaker. That's fine. Don't need breakers. We probably need to get rid of this. It's whether we can draw into something money-wise to get rid of it better. Let's make a run on HQ. We see a restore. Oh, that's going to make trashing this feel really bad. But I think I just have to, right? Let's draw again in case we draw. Well, that's not great. There's no point in putting Earthrise down when... Oh, I've got to discard the 4. Well, Hush is probably pretty bad against anything that isn't called Gatekeeper. And we'll get rid of 1 turtle, obviously. We could check this next turn with Jack, but... oh, well, that makes me slightly more inclined to check it. The nice thing is that we can run for a Fairchild and still have a click. But if it's a Hagen, then it's like quite bad for us. Let's keep checking HQ at the moment. We see a fast break. What a surprise. Let's draw. That's good. Do we want to save it to build up the turtle? I don't think so. I think I just need to draw game 3. Okay, so next turn we can kind of get some econ rolling. I don't want to let them get too rich. I also don't want to lose this to like incidental core damage, which could be a thing. Okay, that is fine. Do we want to keep checking HQ? Let's check R&D this time. Okay, that's not a great steal, really. They have a ton of money. We need to get like a bit more money so that they can't outtrace us, but that's probably fine. We just do this. We check HQ. Now they've drawn. We see a restore. And we'll draw a card. And we should be able to remove this tag for free. Okay. So now we're actually at a point where we can contest this ice quite happily. We might check one of these with Jack. Superconducting hub. It's an agenda. So we could run this, put down turtle. We could make 1 run, and then we should be able to run server 2. That's annoying, But I think we take the tags. I think we can take the tags here. If we take 2 tags, we do have to clear 1. We could just put down turtle, run this as long as it's not a gatekeeper, then we're all right. I think that's the only thing which is bad for us. We're not going to trash it because we might want to run. I'd love to dirty laundry here, but if this is a gatekeeper, then it's like pretty awful for us. Oh, that's a shame. Okay, that is a shame because I think I'm going to get hypoxiaed here. I guess I am going through. They might also trash our board. Okay, they are looking for a hypoxia. And maybe could get like double hypoxiaed. Okay. We well, that's quite the turn. So do we expect one of these to be a virus? Because I sure as hell do. Okay. Let's check already. We see a wave. Do we need a bit more money? And then how bad do we get blown out here? Or do we just set up? We'll be at 2 core damage, which is pretty sketchy. I think we can probably like do this. Well, that's interesting. Do we try and run HQ now? Or do we shuffle the ontological back? I think we shuffle the ontological back along with the fast break. And then we just know there's a nightmare in hand. Spin Doctor. I think we just have to leave it. Draw 1 and install the Earthrise. We're gonna take a core damage here, which is problematic. They are now reasonably poor. Can we potentially run now? I think we can. Because I don't think they can res 2 significant things. So we could jack. No, we can't jack. Do we want to make a Jack Sinclair run? I kind of don't want to give him money. Is the one thing. So I wonder if we don't give him a Jack Sinclair. Let's Earthrise first and see what we get. Okay. Well, at least this is stuff that we don't mind losing. Could run HQ. I think it's incorrect too. Do we need to take money first? Probably. This. run. I mean, this could be a bloop, and they can res exactly one bloop and a virus, which would be pretty awful. But we can then still get through and trash the Gypster grid. Okay. So maybe this is a Hendrik in the server. Wouldn't surprise me. Everyone's favorite. Hmm. Okay. We need to find some. We don't have pinhole, so this is like actually a big issue. We can check this, hit the rogue trading. We can probably get through and trash this. They like put another one in there. We could try and lock the top of R&D. I think we check this first. It's almost definitely going to be a Nightmare Archives. So the other question is, do we get the DreamNet down before we make the Jack Sinclair run? Tricky choice. Okay. That's actually pretty good because that means that we can put this down. Run HQ. Oh, I possibly should have deuced. Oh, there's another one. So maybe we just don't trash it and we just try and find the ontologicals before they do. I think I might just need to take the money here. I need to throw out 2 cards though. Am I throwing out the Shrike? I think so. I mean, if they score an Elvigar off this, then we're in big trouble. Or just one of those. One of those would do it as well. Right, let's run. We can like run. I think we run R&D at 2 credits. I think we're safe. Steal a Mega Pre, which is okay. We could overclock this. Do we care anymore? We're down to like 3 core damage. What we really need to find now are white hats. That's the only way we win, I think. And we've seen, how many have we seen? Just the one? 23 cards left. Still a lot of deck. So I think we go again. We probably take some money and go. Just because we're gonna have to like maybe draw and it's a blue. That is good to know. Okay, there's an ontological. And we win. We got there. Jack Sinclair against these type of matchups is so good because against like particularly sports, you just want to make as many accesses as possible. As Phil would say, just touch the agendas and you can win. You were supposed to hit Nightmare Archives, Yeah, I've been practicing dodging them. Soundworks. I assume Soundworks. Soundworks. Seems very similar to my Sunny deck. Excellent stuff. Well, we're actually going to play about 5 different Sunny decks tonight. So that was Sit Down and Shut Up, Hush and Citadel. Didn't see a hot pursuit in any of our games. That's a shame, but you know, there's there'll be a VOD of this on easiest way to find it, I think, is on YouTube, which if you just search for WooTube or WooTube Netrunner, then it should come up. But yeah, so let's move on to deck number 2, which I think is probably the jankiest and probably the one that's not going to work, but we'll see. So, Sunny, lots of spare MU. What can we do with lots of spare MU? Well, we can plant a tree. So the plan here is we're going to play World Tree Sunny, because World Tree decks tend to like having a lot of cards anyway. We've got a whole load of resources we can install, although like when I kind of look at it now, it's maybe not actually enough. We might need some more cheap resources. But the one thing which I really like doing with this, I did it in the one game that I've tested with it, is overclocking out a security nexus. So we basically get a security nexus down for 1 credit by using a security chip. Oh, cool. Soundworks getting back into Netrunner a few months ago. Yeah, I love Sunny Toll Vibe. She's not been great, like since they banned Rizeki. I think she's been on a serious back foot. So tonight I'm just trying to find some cool stuff that we can do with her that isn't playing free Rizekis, because that's illegal. So this is what we're going to try and do. We've got copy of a twinning. This is going to be our win con. We only need 1 because we're going to pull it with a world tree. No worries, we're going to find a world tree, not a problem. And then we're going to charge that up using Chesva and Multi-Threader, and I guess I should probably have at least 1. Should I have 1 prepaid? I've only got 12 events actually, so probably not. Anyway, Multi-Threader and Chesva are going to be like good pumpy sort of abilities. Unfortunately, all of her breakers use 2 credits to boost, so the whole idea of having Multi-Threader is so that I can boost like on the off turn, but to do that I actually have to spend a real credit unless I have multiple Multi-Threaders down, which feels pretty bad. My camera just stopped working, so I wonder if I can restart it, because right now I look a bit weird on screen looking at it. Give me 2 seconds while I see if I do this and then do this. That actually worked. Excellent. Cool. Yeah. We shall see if this works. I'm less confident about this version. But we will try. Bosh. No, not any side. Runner. There we go. So this is Secure a Tree Specialist. So it's similar to some other World Tree decks you may have seen. We're playing 3 copies of Mayfly, and we're going to try and get our expensive breakers out for cheap by Mayflying and using World Tree to turn our Mayflies into one of these expensive breakers, or into just a Chesva or a Multi-Threader. We're going to try and get out our security nexus cheaply using a security chip and an overclock, or even like just the free like getting a security nexus out for 5, pretty good. If this costs 5, this would be a busted console. And then we've got 3 smart wave distributors, which are pretty good for kind of turning into any of our 3 cost and 4 cost resources. When our daily casts are nearly finished, then we're going to sort of sell them for other resources. We maybe the boomerangs are wrong. Maybe this should be like copies of, I don't know, Miss Bones or something else which is really good to like use most of and then sell. We'll see how good we are at getting in early enough, because being able to put a boomerang from a security chip feels like pretty nice, but not the greatest. And we might just need a little bit more sort of fuel for the World Tree. I think this is actually going to run out of fuel quite fast. I'm not 100% sure what that would be. Do we play for any other good, like, well, I say good, but any other like playable 0 cost resources, which are preferably completely influence free? I guess we could play Jackpot. But that you kind of want to let, like, if Jackpot gets like quite big, you don't want to sell it. Yeah. We shall see on this one. This one's definitely on the tier 2.5 to tier 3 sort of spectrum of things. But we can make it work. I mean, twinning's good. Chesva, we could just run. No, we didn't have the influence for it, because I was going to say, why am I not just running loads of Chesvas? Maybe it should be on. Could try running just 2 world trees. Doesn't feel right. Like, essentially, we want this like super early. Is there anything else which we can install which gives us credits without spending influence? Again, that's the big thing. Like, maybe these boomerangs just need to be like liberated accounts, because that's pretty good world tree target, especially if you can overclock it down. But I did like the idea, like, things I like about this is Jack Sinclair, and maybe we should be on another Jack Sinclair, but I guess we can find it as the whole. Oh no. Well, we got more sports. Hey there. Oh. We're gonna get ripped apart by deer here, I feel. Is this a good opening hand? We can contest early ice, which I quite like. Like, they're likely to just jam early. This is draw. No, I'm gonna mulligan. I mean, that seems decent, and a white hat in our opening hand seems great. So I'm not going to complain about that. Okay, they red level for draw and credits. They installed. Do we just check that? No, I think I kind of want to get the whole world tree. I mean, I could check it with a boomerang. We could go gamble, boomerang, run. Or gamble, gamble, boomerang. Oh, I kind of need to get set up though, but this does feel like a Rashida, right? Gamble, gamble, boomerang, run. They don't res, unsurprisingly. There's a Nico, we'll get rid of the Nico. Now, they could leave this boomerang here, sort of scuppered on this piece of ice. But we can sell it for a different boomerang once we find our world tree. So let's go find a world tree. That's fine. That's fine. I think we need to get this down in ticking. Hashtag installs Rozeki. Okay, we're BIOS ticking. Aluminal. Pretty much the worst thing it could be. My opinion of this card is that the person that scores it wins the game. It usually feels like that. But at least they didn't have like the ultimate kind of next turn of jam advance, put another piece of ice here, or anything ridiculous like that. Okay, let's draw 4. We have yet to find a world tree. We'll gamble run, and then I don't know what we do on our last click. Okay. I think I'm going to pay 3 here because this is worth 3 once we find our world tree. We steal an entry, which is great for them. We draw. We put down security chip. The only problem is that we've drawn one of our security nexus, and if we draw another security nexus, then putting. No, I'm just going to draw. That is fine. That's probably better to keep than the chip. Yeah, because if we draw into both of our security nexuses, then we can't cheat one out anymore, which would be a shame. So now we should really like run this, but we kind of can't. Let's see if we can get a bit more money. Okay, we can probably afford to like fire off a white hat just to slow them down a little bit here. No, I want to find. Okay, so now we could dirty laundry white hat, or we get another smart wave going. I think we'll. Um, okay. We shuffle away the. I think we have to shuffle away the agendas for fast. I do want to get the fast break out of hand, but right now, oh, well, let's just let them draw into it. Sure. It was merely a inconvenience. Um, we're gonna have to hard install our security nexus. Feels real bad if we do. I would really like to find. Well, this is not great. What are we throwing out? We're probably throwing out one multi-threader. Okay, I'm gonna de-res a spin doctor to get a ton of value here. Let's draw. That's not great. Let's draw again. That's not great. Are we gonna find our world tree before they win? Because if so, we should put this down. Shrike. I don't think we can ever break anything that they have with Shrike. Okay. This is fine. This is absolutely fine. If they audacity now, then it's not fine. This is also still not fine. Let's draw. Let's draw. Put some money on here. We'll install this and we'll throw out the strike. And we've probably lost right now because we have gone very slow and they are wheeling out way faster than we can deal with. Deer looking to de-res the Spin Doctor for a third time to get even more value. Okay. What do we think this is? Rashida, Spin Doctor, or just an agenda? Let's do Earthrise. Okay, we've still not found. We've still not found a world tree. Still not found one. Do we go looking for one? Hmm. The problem is if we install a world tree, we probably can't afford to actually do anything with it. We still have to install it. It costs 6. So maybe we just have to start trying to win this in a normal way. If I run, I should put the Chesva down. So we should maybe go like Security Nexus Chesva. That only leaves us like, it basically leaves us no credits. We definitely can't Dirty Laundry then, which is a shame. Maybe we could do this, pop up for money. Can we then Dirty Laundry? Probably not, but let's do it anyway. I think Deer just reses here and like boops us out, and they only have to boost by about 4. I guess if this is expensive to res, like maybe they can't afford to do that. We get to 5 link with this Chesva. Yeah, they just let us in, which I think is correct. We've seen other Fairchild. They get off a Rashida. They will be at 6 points before we know it. We might be able to white hat next turn. Nope. I mean, we have very much lost. Yeah. Pretty. Feels bad. Feels pretty bad. Okay. Oh, look, now we found it. Well, I just found the card that the deck is built around. So that's good. So we just like go R&D here, and then we can white hat and maybe do something about HQ. We do have a Mayfly. To put it down, which is a shame. We won't do anything about that. We'll no. Uh, right. We need to get rid of fast break and the spin doctor. HQ here. Unfortunately, they can like draw, and they will. Okay, well, okay, so that's like kind of okay. We can run again. Next turn, we could play a world tree if they don't win. I reckon. And with it, we're going to get down some slow drip. No, we're going to get down to twinning, and we're going to try and win. Earthrise, fine. World tree. There she is. I think we just let that fire. We can't let that fire. Now the question is, what does the twinning say? 2 secs. Is it just the first time we boost? I think it's the first time we boost. But maybe if we then don't use the credits yet. First time you spend credits from an install card. Okay, so what we'll do is we won't use the Chesva for this. And then we'll get out twinning. And then we'll run R&D. We see a drafter, not great. We'll run R&D and break this and steal 4 points of agendas. Not good start. Pretty bad overall. GG. Yeah. About 10 times too slow. This is probably the weakest deck I'll play tonight. I'm gonna be jamming a bunch. of Sunny. Happy to go against something yellow. Ooh. Let me just slot direct accesses. Cool. Um, yeah, Cactus Lab. I probably won't find it early enough. Is the thing. I was just hoping that I'd have enough draw to find it, and like once you've found the world tree, the whole thing kind of works for itself, right? Um, but yeah, like without a tutor, but if I'm putting tutors in as well, then I guess actually, like I shouldn't be playing free world tree. I should be playing one world tree and two emergent creativity because the emergent creativities can be anything. Although then I do have to chuck stuff in the bin, but most of my programs are pretty useless anyway. Hmm. And then I'd need to find extra. I'd need to find extra influence. Maybe I'd play like three multi-threaders and two. Maybe we can rejig this later and see if we can come up with a better option. Right, let's move on to deck number 3. So here's my other idea. What's the current equivalent of Rozeki to the extent that I believe it's banned in Neo format? It's Turbine. And you know what Turbine is really good with? It's good with breakers which have rubbish strength to start with, but break a lot of subroutines. And all of Sunny's breakers, firstly, they have rubbish strengths to start with, but they also break any number of subroutines. So, like, unfortunately, it's for 2 credits, not for 1. And when I was like doing the maths, it makes more sense to run Buzzsaw than it does her breaker, unfortunately. Um, but we've got all this. We've got all the space for all of this. The plan here is to actually use her breakers, like not really use Security Nexus. Whether that's going to work, don't know. Um, I tested this at least a couple of times. I've put in some security chips because they're good with these things if we can't find our turbines. We don't have any Amakura in this one, which is worth noting. Um, we have managed to slot in Mad Dash though, which is a really good card in Sunny because White Hat is a great enabler of Mad Dash. But it's better when you've got multi-access, and I think one of the reasons that Sunny is weaker now is that you can no longer play the turning wheel, which used to be, I mean, it was multi-access for a lot of people, but particularly great in Sunny because it was only one influence neutral card, and it got powered up from Jack Sinclair and from making runs with Security Nexus, and this was like a huge deal. And when Mad Dash plus Turning Wheel plus White Hat used to be an incredibly strong sort of ending, powerful ender for Sunny decks, and doesn't really have access to that now. The best you've got is Twinning, and that's a lot more influence. Maybe we do just try and build a Twinning Shezva. Like maybe we can just build Twinning and Shezva and see what happens there. Anyway, so here we're going to play Spark of Inspiration to try and find all of our stuff. We've got prepaid voice pads, which is another reason that we probably should be on Twinning, but we're not. Wildcat Strike, actually a pretty good card in Sunny. You want credits and you want draw, and like there's normally not a good option for the Corp to give you here, and it's really good in prepaid voice pad decks, which is the idea here. Lots of events. This kind of feels like it maybe has a bit more legs, but let's find out. I think actually I think this has got some options. It's quite, what's going on it's kind of fun building a Sunny deck where you're actually planning on using her breakers. We're going to see exactly how bad that is as an option, but if we can get if we can get both turbines down, then we're actually in a pretty good place. We're playing HPE, so I don't know if any of that's going to really matter. We probably just keep this and play these two and click for money, I think. I believe I've run into this person before, and they're normally playing like very, very. Oh, this is so ironic because I think they're normally playing like super grindogen techie, which plays all of the like AI ice. And the one thing that we're actually really good against, or when I say AI ice, I mean like ice that you can't break with breakers. So do we just put this down now? I think we do before we lose it, right? Um, yeah, so I don't think you can break any of that ice with breakers, which is normally not a problem for Sunny because she breaks stuff with Turtle or with Security Nexus. Jack Sinclair would be a good option here. Uh, this is definitely worth playing. Let's check this one here. Okay, that's fine. We can't trash that. We check one more. If we get snared, what happens? It's quite bad if we get snared. Quite bad. It's also not great. We'll just take credit here. So yeah, we probably can security nexus around this stuff. Okay, well this isn't a free one agenda, so that's good to know. Probably don't have to worry about it. Are we running anywhere? Are we going to go in? I think I might overclock this. Probably don't want to play Spark yet. Let's see what I draw. I mean, if I am going to play Spark, now I have to probably install that. Again, I just don't think that they're actually on. I'm just going to like get rid of this before they put other stuff on it. Yeah, we can put that down. We do have 50 cards at least. Like, they can grind us out if they want. I mean, I say that. I don't think they actually can. They can try. Let's draw cards. Oh, we've got jailbreaks. They are not going to be great in this matchup. We see a snare. We'll trash a snare. Do we run server 4 as well and then clear the tag? Might take us down to like one card. Ooh. We do have to get rid of a tag because we've got we don't want to lose our Steve. Okay, should have run it. It's like if it was a sting, it would have been bad for us to run it, but any other time, it's like actually correct to run it. We'll. I think we'll just put these down. We'll kind of keep drawing through our deck. Jack Sinclair's pretty good if they're gonna like do the free card Monty thing. We'll run first. We'll run before we draw because I don't mind losing these as such. So with Jack Sinclair now, make a run on archives. Probably steal a Kusanagi. There's an oboe in there. So is this a spin doctor? Is the question. So I think we can steal that because we're going to draw quite a lot here. I can draw 4. Run it. Well, that's good. That actually makes it quite possible that we could win this one. We've got 22 cards left to check a load of their stuff. I think we'll just don't want to lose like our Nexus, so I think we'll jack first on server 7. Might go down to like 0 cards here. We still a Regenesis. Yes, please. Okay, so now is the prepaid worth it? We do still have some events, but I don't think it is. I think we probably just put this down so we can bypass some ice. Draw and take credit. Hopefully this isn't a House of Knives. Sting is probably fine. Do we want to make a run? They have exactly 4 credits. Yeah, we'll make a run on HQ. Okay. We get Steve. We start getting. So I probably should have like put a prepaid down. Forgot about Steve. Well, nothing better than making a PE. Sorry, I shouldn't be mean again about PE, but like if a PE player concedes, then like, you know, it's a thing, isn't it? That definitely feels like a true victory. PE concession. Is there anything else we should do? So the other thing which we could do in this deck is we could put in rejig. Like so if we're playing Spark, we could be playing rejig and we could play Femme Fatale. Kind of funky. Maybe we should do that. We could play Femme Fatales instead of the Wildcat Strikes. And then but then we'd have to, so we'd like lose 2 Wildcat Strikes, put in 2 Femme Fatales, also have to slot 2 rejigs. It makes it a bit fiddlier, but does mean that we potentially get Security Nexus down for very cheap with like a 4-card combo which has to rely on luck. No, okay, I don't like it anymore. But maybe we could play just Femme Fatales. Can we play just them? Like, maybe that would. But then we want to be on hushes as well. So that could be a version. So you play like 3 Spark of Inspirations, you play 3 Femme Fatales. You then have to be on hush so that you can deal with. Or I guess you can break a Nancy for 5 if you also play Turbine. Because you have to boost once. Which isn't like the worst. And then you play 3 rejigs. That could be a deck. Like, how would that look? Maybe I'll do it because if I build it in here, then it will disappear immediately. So maybe we try and build it here. Just while we're waiting for a game. So essentially the plan, we always play three white hats because we do. So the plan is to get Security Nexus down early with Fem, Rejig. Rejig and Security Nexus is always also like quite fun because it means you can Security Nexus twice in a turn. And Spark. And then we kind of also have to put in some. We have to put in some hushes just so we. No, we didn't, did we? What were we going to put in one turbine? And then we still have like 9 influence. Does this work? This might work. Dirty laundries. Like we're just looking to bypass all the ice and break Anansi's for 5 credits, which isn't too bad, right? Like 5 credits is alright. We could play 1 hush. We're gonna feel really bad if we spark out a hush by mistake. Like it's gonna feel pretty sucky. Do we again like we kind of so maybe we play like boomerangs as our like rush, because you kind of need a way to just stop yourself getting blocked out of early servers. But this boomerangs don't get affected by spark. Maybe we play 1 Stargate. That is then all of our influence. Like pulling a Stargate is going to feel decent. Paying 3 to install a Stargate is fine, right? But does this influence just want to be like, because it's just then getting how on earth do you get the money that you need into here? We might be getting a Nexus down cheap, but we don't really have any drip econ. Maybe it doesn't work. Just imagine that Anansi does not exist. It will be fine. It is an option. I mean, we do. No, we break Anansi for 6, 7, 8, 9, so we can't do that. We break it for only 5 with the turbine. Or we play a load of security chips. And then maybe we could just play security chips. I just want to use the MU for something. And I don't know exactly what that something is. So we could play security chips, but I think then they're going to take up like a lot of slots. Okay, solid name, Jank Techie. I like it. They are playing Ag Infusion, which is generally quite a bad matchup for Sunny, because the whole. Well, it would normally be, but here we're going to try and break stuff using actual breakers. So maybe that's going to be better. Hey. This seems like a decent starting hand to me. We've got a prepaid. We can like prepaid deuces, put down a daily casts. One of the reasons which I really like prepaid is that office supplies is quite expensive, but it's a really good prepaid target. Do we check that? I don't think so. I think I just set up. Okay, so next time we probably put down. Oh dear. This is fine. Okay, so do we need to go and get rid of this? I don't think we need to go and get rid of it yet. I think I put this down this. We like draw 4 cards. Third prepaid. Ugh. Third prepaid. In the. It's so tempting, but I don't think. I think it's too much. We can probably chuck out the Citadel. So I think we just gained 2. It was maybe not the greatest of turns to draw 4. So next turn we might Wildcat Strike, click 1, see what they do. Because we wouldn't mind drawing 4 then, because at least we can play the gamble. I would think, yeah, like the option there is almost always to give the money, but that's good because that's going to get us closer to to putting down our Nexus, which is great against everything apart from Nancy. We might get rid of this Bladderwort now because at the moment it's drip, and at some point it's going to be annoying. So we probably do that now. Let's just draw once. No, dash is potentially good in this matchup, but hard to get off. Actually, let's run the Spin Doctor first. Let's do this for a better way. Okay, so they have 8, which is enough to resonancy. We might want to get our DJ Steve down, I think, before we lose it. So I think we go this for Steve. We'll do this to draw 2 cards, and then we probably just expose this and run. Perphonymous, that's fine. You can res that if you like. Somewhat expected. And then we get the Earthrise down. Don't think we put Career Fair in this one. We can't have because we spent all our money on Spark of Inspirations. So while they don't have any ice resed anywhere, I don't know what this is. Because I'm tempted just to Dirty Laundry. This feels like a Mwanza, right? What else do you put on HQ? Is this just a trap? Am I just about to hit an Urska Cypher? I am about to hit an Urska Cypher. Hooray! Oh dear. Do we trash it or do we just leave it? Is there any chance they're on Trick of Light? I'm going to risk it. Guess there's always the chance that they're on Trick of Light. Well, this is getting ridiculous. There's me like not slotting pinholes into a prepaid deck as well. Like, what am I thinking? Well, we can't run this server anymore safely, so that's a shame. Let's play this. Put down a DreamNet. I mean, I'd put an Anansi on R&D if I was going to put one anywhere. I feel like we're going to run this. It'll be an Anansi. We'll take free net and then we'll hit a snare. And then they'll have an Anansi resed. So maybe we can just gain some money here. Gonna draw some cards next turn. We're halfway through the deck. No sparks and no breakers yet. I mean, we are on. Maybe we should be on. We should probably be on 2 of each breakers for this deck to really work. Install a buzzsaw. Yeah, sure. Um, that's something. We know that this is Bophonomus. We could go and check this. This is just going to be. What is this going to be? A ganked. Do we die to double ganked? A Sandberg. We actually care about Sandberg. So is so this is okay. Okay. Sandberg is an issue considering we're on. Well, I mean, it's not an issue for Security Nexus, but it is an issue when we actually get like the whole plan of this deck, which is this rig. Do I need the money here or the draw? I probably need to draw. Okay. We could play this. Got it. We'll install a turbine. I might install the Sherman. I don't want to lose it, especially as I'm kind of expecting chassis to suddenly appear from nowhere. We could challenge R&D now. I'd love to get them poor enough that they can't res HQ ice, but that's kind of challenging. Congen. Well, at least we can bypass that. And this is like a hard ice to deal with. Another Congen. I don't know if I want to put this Earthrise down. I'm like through a lot of my deck now. But I'm going to need my killer. I think this should probably be on 2 of each breaker. Yeah. I think we can probably draw once. No, let's just white now. Holy hell! I mean, it's very tempting to try and win here, right? Off some kind of mad dash jailbreak type play. But this just looks terrifying. It still costs us 5. It still costs us 6 to break a DNA tracker. So do I shuffle this away, or do I leave it in hand? I think I leave the agendas in hand. Okay, that's good. Because I think the only thing left is a Shrike. Yes, please. Oh, there's technically one more turbine. Unfortunately, we don't have much money left uh, until we start like actually getting our Steve triggers back. Um, I kind of want to see what this is. No, I think we can just gain free draw to money up. Take a credit. Um, and then we probably dirty laundry next turn. Interesting. They haven't thrown anything out, right? They're not like going to regenesis on us, are they? No. So I think we can get a bit more value. I'd like to get one more turbine down. Hmm. We can probably like if they really depends on how bad this is. Oh, we've already bypassed, so we don't really want to do that yet. All right, next turn we're going to jailbreak HQ. Screw it. Oh, we could go and try and get this. This was ganked, right? Um, I don't think we really care about them scoring out too much. That's actually fairly expensive to deal with, which is a bit of a shame. It's cheap this first time, but we're gonna have to probably encounter it 2 more times, which is going to be a shame. Ooh, using the virus here to do the net damage, which is uh, I mean, it's a solid play which people generally forget about. I usually forget about it. Maybe we should have got 2 sparks back there. Okay, we'd quite like to keep this spark. Let's see our card from hand first. We'll steal a global food, thank you. We'll see another card from hand. We'll steal another global food, thank you. We'll see them a virus. They'll purge. Oh, we lost the gamble. It's a shame. And we see it ganked. Which we will break for 5. We can get one last turbine, and then I think we can just run this twice. Uh, Not anymore. We can't. Oh, that's a shame. If we'd white hatted first, I mean, then they could boop us. So do we go in and trash the Lacosta grid? Like next turn they have to score out. Go in, pay 4, kill the Lacosta grid. And then next turn we like draw, run. We should probably... I mean, we're going to need to break. This is going to be A ganked. Let's just check. Yeah, that is that. We'll see this next, which will trash. Ganked. I'm sure they trash. They might. Yeah, they should. We'll break. And then we can draw. There is a chance that we white hat here. Just to put them right back. It's one more card in hand though. We'll need... No, we'll have enough credits here. We're going to white hat. Just because then they have like no spin doctor in hand or anything like that they can do anything funky with here. So I think next turn we can just draw, and run. Yeah. Draw. Do we play the Wildcat Strike for fun? I don't think we have to. Oh, we can play that for fun. GG. All right. We got the rig up. I feel like we probably do want to be on 2 times breakers. But this kind of got there. Oh, I've just realized my chat's disappeared. Why does it do this sometimes? Let me get it back. Okay, apologies if can I see it elsewhere? Let me see if I can get to my chat otherwise. Maybe I can't. So this kind of worked. We do want to be on 2 times breakers, and so we'd probably need to make some cuts if this is actually like doable. We'd also need to get another influence if we wanted to play a second buzzsaw, or we play. But no, because this is why I didn't want 2 times, because every time we spark, we want to get something that we want, right? So if you put in 2 times, you need to be on like Page Piper as well, so that when you install one, you trash the other one out of your thing. So yeah, so this only works if you're on one of each. Fun though. Like once this is set up, then we actually break everything like pretty cheap. But we were potentially running out of money, and like we don't have the long game that Sonny has. Okay, so let's move on to potentially the main event. This thing is probably too janky to work, but this is something which I feel like is actually good. Like actually possibly quite good. Okay, so these figures don't look great, but Bankar, very, very good in Sunny. Bankar plus Security Nexus, that pretty much gets you through every ice. Again, we've got a problem with Anansi's, but that's fine. We've got Hushes. I also put some Mayflies in here, and there's Boomerangs. So, like, basically, this is our ways of getting through ice, and I'm pretty sure we rarely need more than just Bankar and Nexus. Pretty sick. Nexus also sometimes protects us from the like, I'm gonna accidentally Bankar into an endless Eula or something ridiculous like that. Now, the other thing that we're playing in this deck is Embezzle. Because there's a very fun kind of quality between white hatting Corpse Hand, leaving just their kind of win con operations in hand and then embezzling them. And just kind of knowing what's in hand and using Embezzle to the max. Embezzle is also like one of the things that Sunny really struggles with is like fast advanced decks, and one of the best cards against them, if you don't have Imp or Clot or something like that, is Embezzle, as long as you have got like good idea of when they are holding their fast advanced pieces in hand. So this is the idea. We're playing one corporate defector because Embezzle and White Hat. Why not? And then we've got some hushes. Because again, like a Nancy, we can bank off through a Nancy, but it will do 6 damage if we're not careful. We can security Nexus through Nancy, but if we put a hush on it, then we're absolutely fine. Yeah, this like could be quite a lot of fun. Oh, and also Bankar plus Jack Sinclair. So I haven't really spoke about Jack Sinclair, but I think Jack Sinclair is like a great card in Sunny, and is like a really fun thing to splash in other sort of IDs, but it's normally not quite a strong enough ability. I was using it for a bit in Padma to land deep dives, which was really quite fun. And it's pretty fun in Az because he uses a lot of boomerangs and stuff like that. But Jack Sinclair says, wait, let me get back to him. Firstly, he costs 3, but it says reduce the cost to install Jack Sinclair by 1 for each link you have. So as Sunny, he normally only costs 1, sometimes 0 to install. And then when your turn begins, you may make a run. You cannot use programs during this run. So we can break things with boomerangs. We can bypass stuff with Security Nexus. We can also Bankar through stuff because we're not using a program. So there's a really nice kind of thing going on here where we can use Jack to run on even 2 iced servers with a Nexus and a Bankar out and get in, and we haven't even spent a click yet. Very useful. So this I think is pretty fun, and Bankar's a great card in Sunny anyway. She's got 50 cards, most of them don't matter, and she just needs ways of like getting in early because she can't afford her Security Nexus right away. We're playing 3-sec Nexus in this one because we're probably going to lose at least one. And I think that's about it. I'm not 100% sure about Career Fair here, just because it's quite hard to hold like lots of cards in hand when you're playing Bankar, but we also need a lot of draw, and so we need Earthrises, and we need Dream Nets, and maybe we need a third Earthrise, to be quite honest. We could probably cut 1 Citadel. Why was I so keen on Citadel? Because I think I used to have Turtles. So I think we can cut 1 Citadel, add 1 Earthrise, immediately play against like CTM and wish we had the second Citadel. But yeah. This one is I think particularly fun. And I'd say I will try and maybe publish some of these or just put some. I'm really bad at like putting links in the description, but maybe I'll actually try and do it this time. Maybe I'll link to like this deck and this deck. I think this is a really good start. Like if you just want to try a bit of Sunny, if you've not really played Sunny and you just want to try a little bit of Sunny before she rotates, I think this is like standard enough to kind of get a good feel for her, or a good feel of what you can do currently, or play this version if you prefer a bit more of an aggressive kind of this deck. When it plays, it feels a bit more like an Anarch. We are playing Sparwave Distributor because we need some money in here. But playing against Seabass NEH, we immediately are going to wish we had that second Citadel. Overclock Smart Wave is actually like worth considering here, but I think we want to find something slightly better. Like, I don't hate if we had like a Dirty Laundry or a Sure Gamble, then I'd be quite up for keeping this and embezzling their hand, like turn one for a like white hat into Embezzle. Okay, this seems good. This seems very good actually. Embezzle particularly fun when you have DJ Fenris the Steve down as well. Okay. Do we Dirty Laundry this? If it's a Spin Doctor, how bad is that for us? Quite bad. Regolith? I think we trash that now. Otherwise, we're going to have to check next turn. And then I'm just going to draw one, and I'd like to find a career fair to put the Earthrise down with. Either that or we have to put it down on a turn where we probably just click for credits, and we certainly don't make a run, and they are seamless launching. Wow, oh, is this, oh my word. I told you I wanted that other Citadel. Okay. Unfortunately, Embezzle triggers this. We could start challenging HQ. It's probably an IP block. I think we just put this down. It was a fancy score. We now like probably need to trash this, but we might just be able to embezzle the seamless launches. Let's just assume this is an IP block. We hope we don't hit a snare here. I guess it would be all their money. We can't trash that right now. Just try and get a bit more. Okay, that's good to know. So for people who don't know Ares, this says the first time run a tragedy or corp card each turn, give him or her one to hack. This is why we want to keep the Citadel. Because we could then get rid of the tags clicklessly. Let's draw one. This is like fine. Draw again. We'll just gain a couple of credits and we will Earthrise. If we pull like an overclock, then we probably start trashing stuff. I'm going to have to zoom out a bit here. We do not pull an overclock. We might want to get rid of the So if we run archives, white hat, boomerang HQ, embezzle, then we end up with a tag. It's a shame. Why do I get the feeling that... no, actually, there's a lot of purple here, so these aren't going to be like bladder wars. Okay, that stays where it is. We'll check this one. I'd love to get rid of that Nico. Just take 2 credits. They could afford to like hard-hitting users here. Especially, oh right, I was going to say especially if they play that for free credits. I think we just next turn we probably just try and set them back by playing a couple of white hats. Nice. Now we find our career fair, obviously. Okay. Do we get rid of this at this point? Let's see if they boost into this. They could afford to boost into it because they have a lot of drip. They won't expect us to necessarily have a second. So, what have they got in their hand? Well, we have to get rid of the Beal, right? Because they can score that out. And I don't think we've got a way of getting in and trashing it. We'll put this on HQ and then we'll just take a credit. Unfortunately, they're like really rich now. And Nico drew him a card. Probably undoes all of our white hatting. Okay. Okay. Hushes could be good. These are likely to be like pings. We kind of want to find our Bankar. Straw. That's quite bad right now. Straw. That's... Ah! Right. Now we need to get rid of a gajillion cards. We'll have to get rid of both the hushes. I think we probably should have, actually. I don't like doing this to only save 1 credit, but we're chucking out a load of cards anyway. 2 seconds. I have been visited by a little lady. Okay, little one is awake. Right, I think we need to get rid of the hushes and this. At least now, well, I'd say we have a way of getting rid of. Okay, right. All right. It looks like I might have to call the stream there. Slight family issue.
Daddy, you can
Yeah.
do this later.
Okay, I'll do this later.
Yeah.
Do you want to say hello to everyone on the stream? You say hello? No. Okay, fine. You're shy. Yeah.
Shy work people.
Okay. Well, I think I need to go and try and get this one back to bed. So,
Daddy,
yeah.
video.
Okay, let's go then. Right.
Do that later.
I'll do this later. Right. Looks like I'm going for now. Anyway, hope you all had a good time. I'll catch you all again. Okay, I'll do it in the morning. Gotta stop